So, there are a lot of things about Russell Westbrook that just won't ever change. I mean, he's always going to be intense. He is always going to be fearless. He will always wear clothes that the rest of us mere mortals can't possibly understand.
That's tame right there.
I can't even on the sweaty cleavage last night. Nope. But here is what's funny. While we usually only think about the essential fixed things that make Russ, Westbrook has actually spent the past couple years quietly becoming one of the NBA's most adaptable superstars. Chameleon, get it? Chameleon, right? Think about it. He was one kind of player when partnered with Kevin Durant, right? Then last year became a significantly different player, powering the Thunder with his triple-double logging, clutch basket-making, usage-gobbling extravaganzas. And this year, well, we're getting Russell Westbrook 3.0. And even within the season, we've seen what that means evolve. It started off the court. From the moment Paul George and Carmelo Anthony arrived in OKC, it was obvious Russ was trying to do a better job connecting with them than he has with other star teammates. On the court, that was sometimes messy. Remember all that my turn, your turn awkwardness? Well, it was unsightly, but it actually created a fundamental underpinning of trust that we're seeing be so key now that Russ has stepped forward once again in a lead role. And boy, has he. Did you see what he did against the Nets the other night, tunneling for that last-second game winner as he brought the Thunder back from double digits? Then last night, Russ just steamrolled the Wizards, 46 points. And it wasn't just the dunks that thrilled the crowd, although they did, Even the passes. I mean, look at that man's face. It is all great fun, and there is a temptation to just say, yep, Russ back to MVP form. But if you look closer, the truth is, once again, he has made some adjustments. Take his three-point attempts. Last season, he was jacking up more than 7 a game. That number down to 4 for this season, and he's just been smarter overall with his shot selection. Of course, we did see something in that game against Washington, that trademark Russell Westbrook venom, and afterward, we found out why. Here are reporters asking him about being picked by LeBron in last night's All-Star draft, which was revealed right before tip-off.
But I see I was the last pick on the list. I was just trying to figure out,
Alphabetical. It was alphabetical.
See, I told you, man. Alphabetical order, man. Of course I was first.
This gets even more funny when you look up whose name was right before Russ's on that list that was actually alphabetical, but that Russ thought was the draft order. Yep. John Wall's! That would explain why Russ went out and dropped 46 on Wall's team. I mean, come on. This is Russell Westbrook. There are some things that will never change. Scotty, I want to ask you, because you've played on different team dynamics. You were a success one way with one team, and then you have new players come in. You did it with the Bulls. Robin came in. How do you know if you can adjust or if you're abandoning what made you good?
Well, in our respect to Russ, the way he's handled this, 2 superstars come in, high-volume shooters. He really took a step aside, being the MVP, in the way that he gave his game up to try to fill these guys in. But now we're starting to see the real Russell Westbrook, the player that we saw last year, the MVP. And he's figured out who his teammates are. He knows what Carmelo wants to do on the court. He knows when to go to Paul George. So I just think that, he's figured out now what it takes and what he have to do night in and night out to win and let these guys follow. I think at first he was trying to follow and not be the leader, but I think he's gotten back to being the leader now.
When you've been in that situation yourself, is that hard to go back and do if you think back to your Bulls days?
Well, it is a little bit hard because you have to go through some growing pains, and Russell went through that. Some tough losses that they suffered, and I'm sure they realized that their record should be a lot better than what it is right now, but that's just part of getting familiar with each other, and he didn't want to start this relationship off bad, so he made sure that those 2 guys were happy.
See, I'm trying to get him to talk about Dennis Rodman coming in. He's avoided it twice.
Well, Dennis wasn't taking any shots.
Yeah.
So Dennis was very easy, but we did have to defer a little bit for his rebounds. But hey, kudos to him. If he want to be the greatest rebound ever, let him have them.
He didn't want to take shots. He grabbed the rebound and dribbled it out. He got a layup right there.
That's it. So
it's not. They're not as good as the Miami Heat of LeBron, Wade, and Bosh, but there's a similarity there in that. Remember in the beginning there, they had the same thing. Everyone thought, there's not enough balls for all 3 of them, so to overreact, everyone's trying to be too nice. No, it's your turn, it's my turn, that. And it wasn't until they figured out, look, it's LeBron's team. Wade the second best player, and Chris Bosh, you're gonna have to be more of a role player than a star. Same thing is happening here. It's Westbrook's team, Paul George second best player, and Melo, you gotta be a little less of a star. So what that means is what we just saw there was a bunch of ISOs, a bunch of jab step Melos, and now he's finding his shots, he's finding his stuff more in the rhythm of the offense, crashing the offensive boards, getting stuff off the move, moving the ball, shoot it or move it real quick, no jab steps, no holding the ball, no dead ball situation where he's just kind of stagnant. And I think that's big because they needed that. They needed someone to be able to say, I'll find my shots within the flow of the offense.